All right, what's up, guys? Coming at you live from the Comfort Inn in Roseburg, Oregon, after last night's race at the Douglas County Dirt Track with Kubota High Limit Racing. After this video, we're going to go hop in the car and start making the 4.5 or 5 hour drive north to Elma, Washington for race number 38 at the Grays Harbor Raceway on Wednesday, August 28th. I know I got the date wrong for the last race at Roseburg, but now we got it right. So it's Wednesday, August 28th for Grays Harbor Raceway. Elma, Washington is the town that the racetrack is in, and it is a 3/8 mile oval. The weather is looking great, as it has the entire West Coast swing. You cannot ask for much better weather than what we've gotten so far throughout these couple of races. 74 degrees for a high tomorrow. Might need a sweatshirt. If you know me, 74 is a little bit too cold. Low of 59 degrees and a 9% chance of rain. So looking like we're not going to have to worry about that at all. Sunny skies and light winds. So really nothing to worry about when we get over to Grays Harbor tomorrow night. So great weather. $12,000 to win. And that obviously, that's our standard purse. And then that leads into what is going to be the biggest race on the West Coast. And that's the $102,000 to win Skagit Nationals. $1,200 to take the green flag in tomorrow night's main event as well. We've got an estimated car count of about 30-ish. I'm guessing that a lot of the guys that, ran last night at Roseburg are going to be going north to Elma as well. I know we did lose Justin Cox after his flip during the heat race. I know he was feeling a little bit, out of it, not really feeling too good after that one. But good thing that we saw him talking to Tony Laporta afterwards, after that wreck. So we know that he's okay. He's just not feeling too good. So that team is going to head back south and call it a day with the West Coast swing with Kubota High Limit Racing. But I do think we're going to gain a couple of cars potentially from the Washington area. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Let's talk about the most recent 410 winners at the Grays Harbor Raceway now. The most recent was Dominic Scelzi earlier this year with the NARC King of the West Series. And then on last year, around this time in 2023, Logan Schuchart got a win with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. And in that same year, Corey Day was a winner with the NARC 410 Series as well. And then we got to go back to 2022 when Carson Macedo got a win with the World of Outlaws, and Trey Starks got a win against the NARC 410 Series as well. So 5 different winners right there in the last 5 410 races at Grays Harbor Raceway. The track record going in was set by David Gravel at 11.561 seconds on September 6th of 2021. So could we see a new track record tomorrow night? The temperatures are cold. So maybe that could be a potential thing that happens. We did break a track record last night with Zeb Wise over there at the Douglas County Dirt Track, so maybe we can make it 2 races in a row. Now, looking at the point standings going into this next race, Brad Sweet up to 2,174 points. With the issues last night for Tyler Courtney, he did not finish the race, hit the wall, had to go to the work area, and took it right back to the trailer. He is now minus 126 points from Brad Sweet. Minus 248 for Rico Abreu in the 3rd spot. Brett Marks is minus 280 in 4th. And then you got Corey Day down there in the 5th position in points at minus 307. So things are getting stretched out a little bit here for Brad Sweet, even though he really has not been all that fast here recently. But Tyler Courtney not able to take advantage of the issues for Brad Sweet. We look back to Placerville when Brad Sweet got into that wreck. Brad Sweet was still able to come out of the work area and beat Tyler Courtney and gain more points on him. And then we did not have any points up for grabs at Chico. But then last night, Brad Sweet was really not much of a factor. He was 8th place in the main event, and Tyler Courtney was, started in front of him in the main event, and then got into the wall and fell out of the race. So things are not looking too good for Sunshine when it comes to the championship. But he does have a lot of laps at Skagit, so maybe that's a potential place for him to gain more points. And then obviously we go to Port Royal, which is a good place for him as well. I wouldn't say it's over quite yet because Brad Sweet certainly is struggling right now, but it's not looking too good at this point in time. Let's take a look at the drivers who we are expecting to see there at the racetrack tomorrow night for the non-high rollers portion of this board. Dominic Scelzi obviously is one of the ones to watch for. He just got a win earlier this year in his own number 41 car. Tanner Holmes, want to give him a shout out as well for the 3rd place result yesterday at the Douglas County Dirt Track, which was the best of his high limit racing career and maybe one of the best finishes of the year for him in a 410 besides that 410 win that he got with King of the West over at, what was it, Southern Oregon Speedway. So a really good result for Tanner Holmes. And I want to give a shout out as well to any of the Oregon people watching this video right now. You guys were so awesome last night. You could hear the crowd over all the cars, man. It was so awesome. And hopefully we're back to see you guys again next year over there in Roseburg. Shane Golobic, he should be back as well. Got upside down in his heat race last night, but they did make repairs. He was able to make it out for the feature in the Matt Wood Racing 17W. Tyler Thompson, he's a guy that's won some races and I believe 360 and some limited 360 action as well at Grays Harbor. He'll be back in Kyle Main's number 35 car. Trey Starks, I don't know if he's going to be there for sure, but I put him on the whiteboard because I really do think that he's a guy that could potentially win this race tomorrow if he does show up. Starks is very, very good at Grays Harbor Raceway, and he's had a great year overall. He's won a lot of races up there at Skagit, and it's Trey Starks. I put him on the board. I think he might be there, but don't quote me on that one. Landon Brooks in the 45 car for Shannon Wheatley. He also got upside down last night. We hope to see him back. Cole Macedo in the Tarleton Racing number 21. Justin Sanders, man. When will this guy win a national sprint car race? That is the question going through a lot of people's minds. Was second place again last night at the Douglas County Dirt Track. Was second there, second at Placerville. He's been second with the Outlaws before a couple of times. Sanders is knocking on the door of that first national sprint car win. Will it happen at Grays Harbor? I don't think Grays Harbor is the place that it happens at. If it does happen, I think it will happen at Skagit. So Justin Sanders, a lot of speed behind the wheel of that 2X car right now. Jock Goodyear and Jamie Veal, both those drivers will get their first look at Grays Harbor Raceway tomorrow night, the two Australians. Bailey Jean in the 14B, we know that she's going to be in the house as well. Talked to her yesterday. She said she's going to follow the series all the way back up to Skagit. And then the same thing with Brett McGuy in the 66 car. So Brett McGuy, Bailey Jean going to follow the series back to Skagit. Now, could we see a potential for Colby Thornhill in the 19 car? Maybe. Could we potentially see Robbie Price? I'm not sure. He said back at Silver Dollar that he was not going to be there, but who knows? Robbie Price said that he was thinking about it, so I did not put him on the board, but we could see Robbie Price along with Colby Thornhill showing up as well. Now, at the bottom of the board, I did want to talk a little bit about James McFadden and this run that he is on at this point in time. Going into this West Coast swing with Kubota High Limit Racing, I don't think many people had McFadden at the top of their list to be the guy that was winning the most races and running the best. I think a lot of people had Brad Sweet, Corey Day, Rico Abreu. Those were probably the main three guys. California, born drivers that have a lot of laps at all these racetracks. But McFadden's been unbelievable. I mean, you look at his last 6 finishes, all of these races taking place on the West Coast. A 4th, that was at Tulare, a 5th at Kings, a win at Placerville, a 3rd on his prelim night at Silver Dollar, a 6th place at the Gold Cup, and a win last night at the Douglas County Dirt Track. James McFadden is absolutely red hot right now. And it's crazy to look and see that in the overall owner's points, McFadden is only 10 points behind Corey Day. So McFadden, if this board was a little bit longer and a little bit taller, he would be right down there in that 6th position at minus 317 behind Brad Sweet. And in that owner's points, that's what we talk about when it comes to the high stakes charter. And McFadden could overtake the 14 car driven by Corey Day by tomorrow. So we'll see if that is the case. But pretty crazy stuff to see the McFadden miss the first 4 races. They had Dominic Selsey filling the car. He had a couple of decent finishes, nothing inside the top 10. But McFadden has put together a lot of good races. He did have a little bit of some issues earlier on in the year with a lot of wrecks and things like that. But he's really gotten things going here recently, and it's been fun to watch. And we'll see if there is a change in the 5th place in points by the time we leave tomorrow night at the Grays Harbor Raceway. So want to give a hat tip to James McFadden and a couple other guys as well as Tanner Holmes and Justin Sanders on their great runs last night on the podium over there at the Grays Harbor or at the Douglas County Dirt Track. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Also, make sure to comment down below. Will you be at Grays Harbor? And if you aren't, I want to hear your win picks. Who do you think is going to take down the win at Grays Harbor? If you are watching on Flow Racing, thank you guys so much for watching. I did see a comment yesterday saying that they were watching these videos on Flow, but they did now make their way from Flow to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and are now checking out all of the content. So we really appreciate all of your guys' support on Flow Racing, and we'll talk to you again here soon. I'm going to make another video later on talking about the race preview for the Skagit Nationals, the highest paying race of all time on the West Coast for sprint cars, and you'll see that here in your inbox coming here very, very soon. So thank you guys again for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.